See, like Venky is somebody in Telugu we know for extreme detailing of characters.
Right.
Like, okay, not to, this is like, I'll sound like a cliche Telugu guy, but usually in Telugu there's a largeness to commercial cinema.
Sure.
And that's the beat of cinema that is mostly accepted. But there's a handful of filmmakers that make a commercial film also have art house sensibilities where detailing of characters is perfect. You see production design on the film, it's perfect. You don't see anything that's off character. And Venky is one such. And earlier you spoke about the production design of the film and how much of detail it was. So what are the finicky things of Venky and how does he start?
I think this I relate to completely.
Okay.
I've always felt you can tell very believable, real, logic-based stories and believable characters, which it's almost like considered art house in a lot of mainstream cinema. When you go into that level of detailing of real life, or portrayal of real life. But at the same time, I feel like you can make that commercial. You can tell it not a larger than life way, but you can mount it in a certain way where there is scale, there's entertainment, there's I'm saying extraordinary things can happen to ordinary people. And I feel this film is so much of that, so much of extraordinary things happening to this one ordinary man and his family, right? Ordinary people in that sense. But I think the genius of Venky, I'm glad he's not here, so I can praise him, is that he seems to get the pulse of the people in this film. And there's a whole variety of characters, there's a whole spectrum of characters. And it's not like everybody speaks Venky's voice. It's not that everybody speaks his language. There is enough detailing where each person seems their own. If somebody is of authority, then they are of authority. If somebody is of somebody who's failed his 10th grade, and he will obviously speak that kind of a language. And I love that Venky is able to write those. There'll be days that I'm fighting with him about some random thing, and then he'll give me the scene, I'll read it, and I'll be like, oh, I can't fight with you because
this scene is so good.
You can still write this. Like, I mean, your views on life or something I might argue with or debate with you on, but like when you give me a scene, I feel like it is so organic and it's so real. In fact, the biggest fights I've had with Venky on the film is post-shoot is an edit, because he obviously has a time limitation and a runtime limitation in his head.
Right.
And I'm like, how can you take the scene away? It's so beautiful, it's so real, it's so organic. And you know, like, isn't it hurting you to like trim this and sort of lose the essence of it or something? And he's like, no sir, I have a larger story to tell, and I can't really pick and choose. So I want everything to be there, but like this is the best way.
This is how you get it.
But it's been such a long time since I fought with a director to lengthen a film. I'm always fighting to reduce. Like, this is almost 3 hours, bring it down, cut 10 minutes, cut 15 minutes. And that is, I think as producers, we have that sense in our head, right? But this is the first film where I'm like, I think I can afford another 5 minutes. You can give it another 10 minutes. Let the film breathe. It can afford it because it's so organic.
So like Venky, every time I see him, he's like this quiet, coy guy, but he's got very definitive views on life. And the way characters should be. And you won't expect that's coming out of somebody who's set in that tone or that tonality of speaking.
Sure.
How is he as a director? Like, how does he direct people? How clear is he?
I think I don't know how he does it.
No.
He's the exact opposite of what he writes.
He's like, the exact opposite of what he writes?
The
is that
maturity in his writing is
so you're saying
so, I mean, I'm awestruck sometimes as to how he explains the character should be. When in real life he's just talking about model cars and I'm like sitting there.
He's talking about model cars?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Like, literally ask
I don't know if I had that influence on him somewhere.
Yeah, model cars 100% this guy would have said something.
It just takes off and I'm just thinking, I can't believe
I created
this
a monster, so he's...
Yeah.
That's what he talks about.
That's all he talks about.
A lot. And then Meenakshi is like, but we have shoot, and she just sit there in the background.
But he has this childlike energy about anything that's new.
He does.
He gets excited with, okay, I'm sure this car wouldn't have been in his head.
I mean, I think he had a collection of some cars from his childhood. Like, I think he really got into it. I think when he came to narrate to me, he saw my collection in my house or something. But it went berserk during this film.
It's crazy. But also, what's beautiful is that he's so talented, and I have there are very few directors who really portray women in the most authentic, organic, and beautiful way. And I think Venky is one of those.
That's awesome.
I was so apprehensive initially because I was like, he's like, I don't want layers of makeup on you. I don't want you to even look like you have makeup on you when you're in the house and all the house scenes. And I was like, I don't know if he's like, just trust me on this. Don't.
It looks so beautiful.
It
It
does.
looks so real.
What have you
It
seen?
does.
I don't think we've ever seen Meenakshi like this.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm
I
sure
don't
we'll
think
see
so.
different shades of you,
So
different
far,
characters.
but
But like,
yeah,
I don't
so
know
far.
if we'll ever see
Yeah.
a Sumati.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
Sumati lives in a certain era, in a certain time.
So I think it's the most authentic version of me so far that I've played in any character, and I was actually very scared because this is getting too real, and I was not sure if it's how it's going to be. But I think he just, when I saw it, and I was like, he just knows what he's doing. He's so good.
There's not a
at it.
single scene that we get, like when we get the sides, or we're prepping for it or reading it, that you cannot believe fully.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we are performing with full conviction because it feels like a life lived.
True.